get Robocop, turning up, and of course Dick Jones makes reference that there is an Ed 209 now currently guarding the building. Um, but of course, thankfully, Robocop remembered to take one of those big ass guns with him, and just takes literally one shot at it. And I love the shot that they do there, Matt, where they just leaves the legs. And I think I remember listening a while ago that was kind of a comedic type thing that they wanted to put in this film, where you just see it sort of like almost drunkenly trying to stand, and then it just goes down, and you see that little foot sort of just jolting about 1,000 times before it's completely shut down. I kind of like that scene because I guess to a lot of people they'd be thinking, oh god, here we go again, he's got to fight this thing. But yeah, just get the gun out, does the job. It's kind of one of those things where you think a lot of times those films never do the obvious, and you think, why didn't he just pick a gun up when he had it? They actually do it in this film. I'm actually happy the way they did it. I know it's quick, I know it's easy, but that's one. It's normally I'm complaining as to why didn't he just pick one of those flipping guns up that he just had, take it with him. So I'm actually glad that they actually do that in this film. For me, Matt, for you, was the killing of the other Ed 209 okay for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. It makes much more sense. Like I said, it's a realistic kind of ending to it, and also I think it was one of the smoothest bits of stop motion that I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I said, there was all those little bits they added to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the way the toe was seeing that, and I love the fan on top of it going still spinning.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It was supposed there was that comedy element to it, but it was still done in a serious way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, of course, we get that great shot where he just barges through both doors, and it's the old man's like, "Can I help you, officer?" And then, of course, it's Dick Jones is wanted for murder, and Dick at this point is trying to say, he's a psychopath. He's this, that, and the other. And of course, this is where the USB comes in, even extra handy now. It's got, it's going to kill two people really now because he plugs it in and. Thankfully, nothing. I love it how it just comes straight on. I mean, we haven't got to that part yet in the future, have we? Where we know what we want, just go straight in, and not some clip of another video came up. I mean, that would have been disappointing, wouldn't it? But no, it goes straight into this screen, and the confession comes out about killing Bob Morton, and you get that look from Johnston, of course, who was the sort of young stooge to him, I guess, at that one point. He's looking angry, and of course, what does Dick do? He picks up that Desert Eagle, Matt, and he does the only thing a Dick Jones character would. He grabs the old man as hostage and tries to talk himself out of that. Matt, to finale this one off, how did you enjoy this killing of Dick Jones, the ending we got here, the way it went down? I mean, it's kind of smart the way they've done it, I felt, but some people are a little bit disappointed with the whole falling out of the building bit. But for you, Matt, was you satisfied with this?
Yeah, I was. I mean, okay, yeah, he shot him as well, but then there's nothing a lot more satisfying than seeing someone fall out of a window because he got shot and he was still alive as he was falling out the window. He was screaming, so so you get double satisfaction with that one. I like the way that he was like, "You're fired." That was a good bit of the insight there.
Yeah, and it's like. Thank you, and then bang, takes him straight. Because the old man knows, and I love the way that ends. And of course, Johnston, I don't know if you see it in the background, but he's just loving this whole thing. He's laughing at the whole thing when he takes the shot, gives him the thumbs up. He's going to be the new guy from now on. Johnston is the guy that makes it through. He's the survivor. I guess it's one of those things, even in the business of stockbrokers and that, they always say the same, those that are quiet will last longest. And I feel Johnston was that character. Johnston's remained quiet and reserved. I love it when he puts the video on
as well, and it's like, I had to kill Bob Morton, and he gives him that look like, what? Like an evil look.
Yeah. Now it's time to erase that mistake. Yeah, it's great stuff there. And again, we get that classic part at the end where the old man says, "Nice shooting, son. What's your name?" And of course it's the name everyone wants it to be, Murphy, of course. And again, as credit rolls, we finish Robocop. But Matt, a film that went about an hour and 33 minutes, I think, of footage time at least. That is not a long film in today's modern films. I mean, I'm guessing the remake was maybe similar. I don't know. But when you think of the amount of layers in this film, I mean, there's a lot squeezed into an hour and 30 minutes here, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, this could easily have gone on like over 2 hours. This film, there's so much like they managed to get in there in a short amount of time, and scenes that could have easily been extended. Like I sometimes feel like we didn't get to know Murphy well enough because he sort of gets killed on his first real assignment, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, people will also look at, did it have to be an 18? Can it get away with being, 15 or an R8? Listen, I think the way Robocop is here, I think they had to be an 18 just because of it's Verhoeven film. And, any remake, quite frankly, that wasn't going to be an 18 was never going to be able to cut it, even in those terms, let alone all the smart writing in it. I mean, it was never going to be able to compete with this, quite frankly, if you can't even get it, I mean, when you think you can't even use any blood in those films. So I morally see as the remake has kind of just used the title to kind of get another film made. But I don't think it really, it in no way holds up the original. And of course, I'd always recommend this original over any remake that they're going to do. Or, unless, of course, it was another Verhoeven film himself. But yeah, he's not going to redo his own work. Trust me. Matt, I guess this is a definite recommend for you. I'm not going to lie. It's a definite recommend from me. And as I said, another film that came out in 1987. I know we just got off doing The Running Man. That would come out a little bit later in the year. But this is the era we're in. We're in the era of action, hard violence, and witty lines and smart kind of stuff. This is where we're at. Matt, in terms of the legacy of Robocop, this is it's so iconic. It's a cult film for sure, Matt, and it still sells plenty merchandise to this day, doesn't it? And people love the iconic poster and all that stuff. This is kept up very well. How do you think this film's aged, Matt, over the years? Because it is 1987. It's a long way back now. I mean, 30 years from today. I mean, we've done 2 films that have been way back 30 years. Not on purpose, by the way. It's just how it's worked. But when you think 30-year-old film, Matt, it's not done too bad.
No, it's done exceptionally well. I think that was down to great foresight at the time. Even like when they're choosing what Robocop will be built of. At the time, it's kind of fledgling kind of technology in the military. But of course, these days would become the standard. But they doing their research and finding what was the actual cutting edge of the time. And of course, that's just standard, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You're right. I think there's a lot of things that have come out of this. Again, I just love the little kind of things, the little subtle things they put in, the adverts, the commercials, the whole news thing just adds to it. I think in a lot of ways this film wouldn't be as iconic unless it had those bits. But that's very much Paul Verhoeven's view and outlook of it. I'm looking forward to doing more of these films. We're definitely gonna be covering Total Recall next, folks, which is another Verhoeven film. And after we said about Rob Bowen not ever wanting to work, he actually went out and said on a limb, Matt, that he would never work with Verhoeven again. Well, he came back because he worked on Total Recall with him, so that relationship got sorted out a little bit quicker. But of course, he went on to do other films as well. You'll remember the likes of Stormtroopers that come out, Basic Instinct as well, Matt. I'm sure you remember that, and Hollow Man as well. He's always been a very controversial kind of director, but I think you have to really get him to know what he's all about and how he does his stuff. I kind of enjoyed most of his films, to be honest. But of all the films he's done, do you know what one he enjoyed the most? What is his most sort of best work he feels he's done, Matt?
It's got to be this one, isn't it?
No, it's not. No.
Oh, wow.
No, it's not this one. And I'll give you another clue. It's not Total Recall either that we'll be doing. It's Starship Troopers, Matt.
Starship Troopers. Oh, wow. He did a lot of similar things in that, though. He still used all those kind of funny adverts
Starship
in it
Troopers,
and stuff.
yeah. I was just funny that was the one he picked. Whether that's the most he had, most creative, whether he wrote more on that, I'm not sure. Maybe it was just more of an idea of his own and not somebody else's writing. I'm not sure. But yeah, very fascinating that that's the one that he picked, because I just look at Robocop as such a great... There's hardly any errors in this film whatsoever. And, you know, you just think it's just so well done. The scenes, the way they've shot it and everything else. It's just so well done. Like, how can you not have enjoyed it? But yeah, apparently, you know, Starship Troopers was his film. But Matt, I want to give you the next guest now, unless you might have looked up because of my question last week to you. But the body count in this film, Matt. I've got to say, let's just say I was surprised on this one. I was quite surprised.
Okay, it's going to be difficult. I'm going to say 29.
Oh, that is so close. I'm going to give it to you because you're so close. It's 30.
Oh.
It's dead on the 30. And again, I think when you think about this film, you think, hang on, surely there was more. No, there was only 30. Now, I know that last time on The Running Man, it was a kind of crazy number. But yeah, it was 30 here. So, yeah, you are so close there, Matt. I mean, you are definitely the fanboy of the film to get it that close. I was nowhere near it, but I've got to admit, I was trying to think, and you know, the problem with these death count things is they literally include everybody. So there might even be extras that you don't even really see in the shot that they include sometimes. So yeah, you've really got to be paying attention to get that right. So well done there, Matt. I think we give that one to you, 100%. Well, that's going to be the end of the Robocop retrospective. I've enjoyed doing this film. This is one of my favourite films to go back to. I wanted to get here. Matt, I know you felt the same coming back to wanting to do Robocop from the get-go. I've enjoyed the journey of going through this film.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it, yeah, and who knows, maybe there will be another Robocop somewhere down the line.
I think there will be, folks. Stay tuned for that. Well, I'm certainly sure we'll be doing Robocop 2 at some point, so stay tuned for that. Until the next one, folks, I've been John Scott, he's been Matt Essex. We'll see you next time.